This is Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. Our weekly chat with the Gibson Southern Titan head football coach is brought to you by these underwriting sponsors: A&B Contracting, A&T Concrete Supply, AgriGold, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Hearts Gone Wild, Consolidated Grain and Barge, Cox Family Eye Care, Deaconess Women's Hospital, DuBois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Freudenberg Mini Mart, Hobstadt Summerfest Incorporated, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Jackson Seed Service, JL Farm Equipment, Kiesel Enterprises, Kissel Farms, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Lowry Company, Marshall Disposal, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, MyTech Systems, Pole Concrete Construction, Princeton Auto Park, Pro Rehab, Reinbrecht Homes, Rusty Reeves FC Tucker MD Realtors, Sandy's Pizza, Shoe Carnival, South Gibson Grain, T. Konya Distributing, 10 Barge Seed and Turfgrass Supplies, Total Seed Solutions, United Fidelity Bank, VFW Post 2714, Vertical Tile, and by Ziliak Enterprises. Titans football with head coach Nick Hart starts now on 89.1 The Bash.
Welcome to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me is head coach Nick Hart. And coach, your Titans are now 8-0 overall and 6-0 in Pocket Athletic Conference play after defeating Tell City on Friday night. So let's take a look at the scoring plays and some of the team and individual stats from this ball game. Starting off in the first quarter, it took a long time before you broke the end zone, crossing that touchdown marker. But Isaac Sellers completed a pass to Chandler McKee for 61 yards. The point after kick by Chandler McKee is good. 7-0 Titans on top. And then coming right back in the first quarter, Dylan Stefanich ran it in from 2 yards out. Point after kick by Chandler McKee is good. 14-0 the Titans lead after one quarter. And then the barrage took place. 6 touchdown scoring plays in the second quarter, starting off here with Dylan Stefanich running it in from 8 yards out. Point after kick by Chandler McKee is good. 21-0 the Titans on top. Then Caleb Carpenter on the ensuing kickoff, he went down and literally took the ball out of the hands of the returner. He returned it 19 yards untouched for the fumble return touchdown. Point after kick by Chandler McKee is good. 28-0 Titans on top. Then Isaac Sellers completed a pass to Wes Obermeyer for 6 yards. The point after kick by Chandler McKee is good. 35-0 the Titans are on top. Chandler McKee then ran it in from 7 yards out. Point after kick by Chandler McKee is good. 42-0 Titans on top. Dylan Stefanich then added a 2-yard touchdown run. The point after kick by Chandler McKee is good. 49-0 Titans on top. One more score to go here in the first half. And Caleb Carpenter, he was bringing out that Neon Dion move. He returns it 50 yards on the punt return for a touchdown. Chandler McKee's kick is good. 56-0 Titans on top. Then with the JV squad in there, Landon Meyer at quarterback. Landon had a great situation here in that third quarter. He runs in the quarterback sneak for a 1-yard touchdown, and then he also kicks the extra point and makes it 63-0 Titans on top. And then in the fourth quarter, Tell City got on the board as Joey Engel ran it in from 25 yards out. David Teague kicked the extra point. Final score from Tell City, it was the Gibson Southern Titans 63, Tell City 7. So, Coach, a big second quarter explosion for the Titans.
Yeah, got off to a little bit of a slow start, but what I really liked about our kids, I think sometimes when you get in that situation and you don't get out the way that you should, it's easy for the team that's supposed to win to kind of tighten up. But we didn't. We just kept competing and kept battling and fought through it a little bit, and then really got rolling there at the end of the first quarter and into the second quarter.
All right, so let's take a look at some of the team stats here from the Pocket Athletic Conference contest with Tell City. First of all, the Titans had 332 yards of offense, 132 for Tell City. And I know people are sitting back saying, really? They won 63-7 and they only had 332 yards of offense? But then again, you've got a punt return for touchdown. You've got a kickoff where you recover the fumble or you steal it away out of the player's hands and run it in for a touchdown. There's 2 missed possessions completely.
And we had a block punt where we got the ball in like the 10 and also recovered a fumble deep in their territory. So, 2 of our drives started on a really short field. So, sometimes, it might hurt your stats a little bit, but, it doesn't matter how you score them. And, we were set up with some short fields and got some special team scores, which is, absolutely great. I thought, execution was really good.
Well, and I think the bottom line is you could have 30 yards of offense. You wouldn't care as long as it's the big W.
Absolutely.
All right, so looking at passing, 169 yards of passing for the Titans, 11 for Tell City. Rushing-wise, the Titans had 144 yards on the ground, 121 for Tell City, and most of those came in the second half of play. Mm-hmm. And then turnover-wise, Titans did have a turnover early in the ball game, which got off to that slow, sluggish start for the Titans. But then Tell City had 2 turnovers. And then when we're looking at penalties, no yellow flags on the Titans. Matter of fact, we only had 1 flag. There was one that was thrown, and you guys declined it. Mm-hmm. Awesome call. That was the perfect call. But then there was 1 other flag for holding on Tell City late in the ball game.
Yeah, it was a very clean game. I thought the officials did a great job. We've had that crew before. They always do a good job. So, but I thought our execution was really good. In that regard, especially because there was no silly penalties, no offsides, it's hard to play a whole football game and not have 1 penalty. So, our kids did a great job in that regard.
Well, and a stat that you can look at here as well, in third down conversions, we've talked about this a couple different weeks. Third down conversions, the ball club was 6 of 7 for 85.7%.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And what I think is really great too is, a few of those conversions were with our second group, and the one that wasn't was, in the fourth quarter when we had a lot of different guys in. But, that drive right after half where we had our second unit in, they faced some third downs and were able to convert and keep the chains moving and end up putting it in the end zone.
All right, so let's take a look at some of the individual stats from Friday night. Starting off with the passing game, Isaac Sellers was 9 for 13, 169 yards and 2 touchdowns. Landon Meyer was 0 for 1 in the ball game. So 9 for 13, 169 yards. Sounds like a great night for many high school quarterbacks out there, but we know we've seen a lot more out of Isaac, but at the same time, take it every day and twice on Sunday?
Absolutely. I thought he was very sharp. He extended a lot of plays too and didn't make bad decisions. We missed a couple blitz pickups. One of them, he made a great play and completed it to Obermeyer for the touchdown. The other one, he just smartly threw it. Didn't have anything there. Avoided the sack, threw it away. Didn't make a bad, costly decision for us. So I thought he played very, very well. We obviously didn't throw it as much as we're used to because we didn't run as many plays as
you didn't need to,
and we didn't run. We really didn't get as many plays as we're used to getting because of the short fields and the special teams touchdowns. So a very, very good efficient night through the air.
Well, let's take a look at the rushing game. Dylan Stefanich had 9 attempts for 48 yards and 3 touchdowns. Mitchell Spindler, the freshman, had 7 carries, 44 yards. I tell you what, I like this freshman. Mm-hmm. He's really going to have an opportunity, especially next year, be able to help out in spelling players. And then junior and senior years, we could see a lot coming from this young man. But Isaac Sellers had 3 carries for 17 yards. Ben Butler had 5 carries for 13 yards. And I tell you, he just runs hard. He's not a very big young man, but he just goes and gets it. I like the way he runs the ball. Landon Meyer had 3 carries for 12 yards and a touchdown. Chandler McKee, Mr. B-Button, got 1 carry for 7 yards and a touchdown. Garrett Martin had 1 carry for 2 yards. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, wait a minute, you don't use a fullback ever. When do you go under center and use a fullback? It caught me completely off guard. Loved it. Dearly loved it. You can catch me off guard like that anytime. But Seth DeLong had 1 carry for 1 yard. Coach, a lot of guys getting a lot of carries in this ball game.
Yeah, it's great. And I think if I have one critique of our team, early in the ball game, we should have ran the ball a little bit more efficiently than what we did. But what I really like about those stats in a game where we kind of got up and took control early is, Dylan only had 9 carries and Isaac only had 3. keeping some tread on those tires here as we hit a big stretch. So, it was nice to, keep some hits off those guys' bodies, because even, on Dylan's 9 carries, he had 3 touchdowns, so he wasn't getting hit. He only got, 6 hits and Isaac 3. So, that was something that was really, really nice once we got in control, was to, be able to keep some hits off of their bodies.
All right, let's go to the receivers now. Chandler McKee had 4 receptions for 140 yards and 1 touchdown. I mean, really, 4 catches, 140 yards. That's 35 per catch.
That's good math. But he, I was trying to do it and couldn't
I'm
figure it out.
I'm not going to lie to the people. I'm not going to lie to them. It's here. It's already done for me.
But no, that's a great night, and he was able. He kind of sparked. Him and Isaac hooked up on the corner out for the first touchdown, and kind of sparked us a little bit, and he made big plays all night.
Well, and Wes Obermeyer had a couple receptions for 12 yards and a touchdown. Dawson Witt had 1 catch for 11 yards. Nick Maurer had a catch for 8 yards. And Dylan Stefanich had a catch for a -2 yards, and that was the one negative, really, offensively, from my standpoint, all night long.
Yeah, that was the fumble. But, I thought our receivers, did a really, really good job the entire night, getting open, catching the ball. 9 of 13, a couple of them were throwaways. So, once again, just a great night of taking care of the football in the passing game and making things happen.
All right, so let's go over to the other side of the football. On the defensive side, Trace Matzel led the way with 11 tackles. He had 7 solo and 4 assists. Then Caleb the Diesel Stiesel. Boy, I tell you what, that big man is just fun to watch up there on that defensive line. He had 9 tackles, 5 solo, 4 assists, 2 tackles for loss and a sack, and also a fumble recovery. And then Luke Miller had 8 tackles. He had 5 solo, 3 assists, and 2 tackles for loss. Austin Ziliak on the defensive line with 8 tackles. He had 5 solo, 3 assists, and 1 tackle for loss. Garrett Martin had 7 tackles, 6 solo, and 1 assist. And then Devin Montgomery had 7 tackles, 3 solo, 4 assists, and 2 tackles for loss. And when that defensive line is creating that much havoc, I mean, the 3 starters are right here in your top 6 that I just listed in making tackles. Boy, there's just I'm at a loss for words, Coach, and that's hard to believe.
And the other 3 guys I think you listed were all inside linebackers. Garrett plays with that second group. He had a lot of special teams tackles for us. Man, he is a phenom on the special teams force. But when those other 3 guys are your inside linebackers, when you got your 3 down linemen and your inside linebackers making the majority of your tackles, that means you had a pretty good night at the office.
All right, so let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll get your overall thoughts from game number 8 concerning the offense, defense, and special teams. But right now, we need to thank some of the underwriters of Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash.
You're listening to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. Tonight's show is brought to you by the following underwriting sponsors: A&B Contracting, Best One Tire, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Cox Family Eye Care, Freudenberg Mini Mart, Jackson Seed Service, Kissel Farms, Marshall Disposal, Pole Concrete Construction, Sandy's Pizza, T. Konya Distributing, United Fidelity Bank, and by Vertical Tile. The Diesel Equipment Technology program at Wabash Valley College will train students to become successful diesel equipment technicians. Students will spend equal time in the lab and classroom while learning theory and operation of diesel equipment. Students will also complete an internship during their 2-year degree program. For more information about the Diesel Equipment Technology program, call WVC today at 618-262-8641 or visit www.iecc.edu/WVC. Hey Gibson Southern Titans fans, your team is set for postseason play, hoping to win a state championship at Lucas Oil Stadium. Help 89.1 The Bash bring these games to you on air and online by becoming an underwriting sponsor of the Titans postseason games. Give Kyle Peach a call today at 618-262-8641, extension 3575 to get on board. That's 618-262-8641, extension 3575. Support the Titans in the postseason on 89.1 The Bash.
Thank you for tuning in to 89.1 The Bash for Titans football with head coach Nick Hart. All right, Coach, let's start with your thoughts. First of all, I'm going to change it up on you this week. Let's start with the defense. I mean, we just got done talking about this group, and one of the keys that I look on a week in, week out basis for your defense is that defensive line creating havoc. Now, they may not always make the tackles, and this week they made several of them, but when they're creating havoc, that allows your outstanding linebacker core to just roam freely and get after it.
I was very pleased with the way we played on defense. I thought, especially after that first series, we gave up a first down on the first series, and it wasn't just giving up the first down. Just we weren't playing as physical and aggressive as what we usually do. Like you said, we didn't cause a lot of havoc on that first drive. But after that, once you wipe away that first drive, it was probably the best we've played defensively all year. I thought guys were flying around, making plays. It was a great night. We really defended the run well, and helped get us ready. They're different. But Southridge runs a same version of the offense as what Tell City does, a lot of jet sweeps and that type of thing. So it's great for us as we look forward to this week. We've kind of seen that for a week now, and obviously it's different a little bit, but it's a lot the same, and that'll kind of help us build into this week.
Well, and the thing, as you're getting closer and closer, I mean, we're just literally 2 weeks away from playoff. The final regular season game coming up this Friday night, and then the next Friday, we're back at Jack Jewel for playoff time. Probably one thing you would really like to see, though, is your secondary get some work as well. There were only 3 passes thrown for Tell City.
Yeah, it kind of something we battle the entire year. So, one thing we always do in practice to help combat that is we do some half scale or 7-on-7 or 1-on-1s. We do some version of that with our varsity offense and defense together every single day. So that way, as we're facing some more running teams and stuff, they're continuing to get that pass work. So that way we're ready. We see a lot more passing stuff whenever we get to the playoffs, and that's kind of the way we kind of help, continue to work on our pass defense throughout the year. Is to go with some of that 1 versus 1.
All right, so let's go now to the offensive side of the football. As against Tell City, it's like the first drive, the first 2 drives really didn't get things going too quick, but at the same time, once they got it going, the last 4 minutes of the first quarter and the entire second quarter offensively was just rolling at that point.
Yeah, it really did. And even that first drive, we moved the ball across the midfield and we're kind of moving until the fumble, and then scored on our second drive on a long pass play. But it did get to third down there. That was one of the third down conversions. But, I wish we would have been a little bit more physical in the run game. I thought there was some stuff in the run game that we missed early. But, again, once we kind of got rolling, then I thought we did a great job. So, a little bit of a slow start. But, again, as it went on, I was really happy with the way we played offensively.
Well, and when we're looking at that first 8 minutes of football, one of the keys that I had in the pregame show was simply for this group, the Titans, to not overlook Tell City, because here comes out Tell City, solid football team. Got to give them some credit. They're out there. They haven't won a conference game, but they have won a non-conference game. And your ball club's undefeated, ranked number 1, highly ranked in the Sagarin ratings as well. Could they have come out maybe just a little flat looking ahead to Southridge the next week?
I think that might be a possibility, but, sometimes when you're a coach, sometimes things sneak up on you and you don't know, but we had an excellent week of practice, and usually I think that's where the overlooking might take place is, Monday through Thursday. Everybody kind of gets ready to play on a Friday night. I think it was more just miscues on our part a little bit. We missed a few run fits defensively on that first drive, and I think sometimes when you play an offense like that, and that's why I think we're really fortunate that we got to play Tell City the week before Southridge, is sometimes you play an offense like that, and it's a little bit like facing a left-handed boxer. It's a little bit funky, a little bit different, and it kind of took us that drive to kind of get our bearings a little bit. And then offensively, we just we're starting to get rolling, and we fumbled and stuff. So I think it was a little bit more of just miscues as far as I thought our energy was great pregame and all that stuff. So, I don't think we overlooked anybody or anything like that. I think we just, had a few poor minutes in there before we were able to get it rolling.
Well, and sometimes it is just a matter of executing. And here's the thing, it's high school football. You're not going to execute literally on every play, even though I sit up there sometimes with the headset on, I'm thinking, man, this is going to be fun because we're just going to execute every play, every drive. We're going to go down and score. And it's like, that just doesn't always happen. Sometimes you got to sit back and realize it is high school football. Sometimes a lineman will miss a block. Sometimes the running back won't hit the hole properly. Or sometimes the ball's thrown and it's just dropped. I mean, those things happen in high school football.
Yeah, and I think, man, when I watched the film, I was so impressed with the way our defense played. And I think with the amount of points that we score, and even, you look at Friday night, you score 63 points, and even though some of them came on special teams, a lot of people are probably talking about the points that you scored and stuff. But I think because of the points we score, our defense gets doesn't get talked about as much as they would if we were winning games 14-7 in that route. So if you go back and look at it, we're not giving up very many points as it is, but against our number one defense, they have not given up very many points this year. And I think they're a group that when you replace all 11 starters, it's just very admirable how our coaches and kids on that side of the ball have continued to improve and get better every single week to get to the point of where they're at now. And I know we'll talk about Southridge more. They have a huge test this week against a very good offense. But I'm just really proud of the way our defense has grown throughout the year and the way they're playing right now.
Well, and that's very true. I mean, sitting here listening as you go there about the defense, I mean, people got to remember you replaced all 11 starters from last year, and yeah, these guys aren't rookies anymore. I mean, it's past that. They're getting ready for game number 9 of their first season, but yet they have been so dominant throughout the season. It's really been exciting to watch. And, I mean, when you start thinking Gibson Southern, people out there, I guarantee you, throughout the state of Indiana, even in southeastern Illinois, they're looking and saying, my God, they score so much. It's all about the points. It's all about the offense. Championships come, though, through defense. And this group's playing outstanding defense.
Man, I'm telling you, I know a lot of people, probably the first time they saw us play was the Forest Park game. But if you would have seen us play defense in June, we made Notre Dame's defense look good.
Well, don't be firing the defensive coordinator.
We were struggling again, like you said. We replaced a lot of parts and stuff. So where we've come from June to where we're at now, I don't even know if any of us coaches could have imagined the growth that we could have made from then until now.
All right, well, Coach, we need to thank some of the underwriters of Titans football with head coach Nick Hart. And when we come back, we'll take a look around the Pocket Athletic Conference to wrap up Week 8 and get prepared for the final week of the regular season as you are listening to 89.1 The Bash and Titans football with head coach Nick Hart.
You're listening to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash, brought to you by these underwriting sponsors: A&T Concrete Supply, Carts Gone Wild, Daylight Farm Supply, Deaconess Women's Hospital, Hobstadt Summerfest Incorporated, JL Farm Equipment, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Princeton Auto Park, Shoe Carnival, 10 Barge Seed and Turfgrass Supplies, and by Ziliak Enterprises. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. The list of social media platforms continues to grow, and so too does the value of social media to businesses. The new Social Media Management Certificate program at Wabash Valley College prepares you for a career in social media or teaches you how to effectively use social media to grow your own business. From advertising and promotion to public relations and marketing, this certificate program teaches you the ins and outs of successful social media strategy. For more information, visit www.iecc.edu or call 618-262-8641 today. Hey Gibson Southern Titans fans, your team is set for postseason play, hoping to win a state championship at Lucas Oil Stadium. Help 89.1 The Bash bring these games to you on air and online by becoming an underwriting sponsor of the Titans postseason games. Give Kyle Peach a call today at 618-262-8641, extension 3575 to get on board. That's 618-262-8641, extension 3575. Support the Titans in the postseason on 89.1 The Bash.
Welcome back to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me is head coach of the Titans, Nick Hart. And, Coach, let's talk a little bit about the Pocket Athletic Conference. First of all, looking at the scores from this past Friday night, starting off a Big 8 versus PAC affair. Boonville defeats South Spencer 34-32. And I tell you, South Spencer, We've talked about them since very early in this season, and we keep watching their scores and so forth. I still think this is a ball club, even though they've got a 2-point loss here. They're going to be something to reckon with in the playoffs.
They are, and they got a very favorable draw, too. They should be able to advance through and meet Mater Dei in the sectional championship. But, I know they're probably disappointed in that loss. It's one I thought that they'd be able to go get. But, their offense, is really rolling. And if they can, find some defensive stops, they're going to be really tough to beat.
And, of course, your Titans defeated Tell City 63-7 in conference play. Another conference ball game, Heritage Hills come out, and their offense got going this Friday night. 56-0, they defeated Forest Park.
Yeah, after a proud program like Heritage Hills loses 2 straight, you knew they were going to, get rolling and stuff. So, good to see for them that they were able to get rolling again.
And then North Posey in non-conference play defeated Tecumseh 55-18. So again, more points coming on here for the PAC.
Yeah, I think they've probably would have liked to score more points as the season's gone through. So looks like they're kind of peaking the right time offensively and a good non-conference win for the PAC.
And then of course in the final Pocket Athletic Conference game of the week, it was Southridge defeating Pike Central 38-7. Southridge comes out, slows down the Pike Central offense, much like your ball club did the week before. Pike Central's got to be thinking, you know what? We don't need to see these two teams anymore. Let's go play somebody else.
Yeah, it's a tough stretch for them there. But, Southridge came out, took care of business early, and, was able to kind of put it in, I think they're up 31-0 at half, and was able to kind of put it in cruise control in the second half.
All right, so let's take a look at the conference standings with your Titans on top 6-0 in conference play, 8-0 overall. Southridge with an identical record, 6-0 in conference play, 8-0 overall. Heritage Hills is now 4-2 in conference play, 6-2 overall. North Posey is 3-3, 5-3 overall. South Spencer is also now 3-3 in conference play, 3-5 overall. Pike Central is 2-4. And 3-5 overall, while Forest Park and Tell City are both 0-6 in conference play, 1-7 overall. So let's look ahead here to the final week of the regular season, an all-conference affair in the Pocket Athletic Conference. Starting off first off here, Pike Central at North Posey. I guess my biggest question is North Posey is looking to continue to roll, yet will that Pike Central offense come back after having a few rough weeks in a row?
North Posey is staring down a date with Mater Dei the next week as well. So, I think, there'll be some points scored in that game from both sides.
All right. South Spencer at Heritage Hills. So the South Spencer, short drive to the jungle.
Yeah, big rivalry there. 2 county teams, and, it always seems to be a close one.
Then, of course, Tell City is at Forest Park. Somebody is going to get their first conference victory. Of course, we just recently seen Tell City. Forest Park we haven't seen since week 1. Really, in my mind, this could be an outstanding ball game between these two teams.
I think it really could. And both teams going to try and get some momentum going before the sectional rolls around.
All right, and of course, then the final Pocket Athletic Conference game is the game of the week, the game of the year in the conference play. That is Southridge, the Raiders at Jack Jewel on Friday night. So we're going to talk more about that one later. So I'm not going to get any of your thoughts on record yet, but we'll get them on record here pretty soon. But right now, Coach, we have one more segment to go, which means it's time to get the listeners ready for Friday night as your team prepares to take on Southridge for the Pocket Athletic Conference Championship. But first, let's thank some of the underwriters of Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash.
Hey Gibson Southern Titans fans, your team is set for postseason play, hoping to win a state championship at Lucas Oil Stadium. Help 89.1 The Bash bring these games to you on air and online by becoming an underwriting sponsor of the Titans postseason games. Give Kyle Peach a call today at 618-262-8641, extension 3575 to get on board. That's 618-262-8641, extension 3575. Support the Titans in the postseason on 89.1 The Bash. You're listening to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. Tonight's show is brought to you by the following underwriting sponsors: AgriGold, Consolidated Grain and Barge, DuBois County Garage Doors Incorporated, in memory of Eric and Darwin Kalis, Kiesel Enterprises, Lowry Company, MyTech Systems, Rainbrecht Homes, Pro Rehab, DFW Post 2714, Rusty Rivas FC Tucker MG Realtors, South Gibson Grain, and by Total Seed Solutions.
Welcome back to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart, right here on 89.1 The Bash, or you may be using the free app to access the show on your cell phone. So, Coach, week number 9, your Titans will be taking on Southridge, the Raiders, for the Pocket Athletic Conference Championship at Jack Jewell Field. And we will have all the action live on 89.1 The Bash, with pregame at 6:15 p.m., kickoff at 6:30 p.m., Southridge will enter this contest with a record of 8-0 overall, 6-0 in conference play. What do you expect to see from Southridge on offense?
They're very, very well coached. They've run the wing T. I think maybe since the wing T was invented.
That'd be a long time.
They've been running it for a long time through a number of coaches, and it's their identity. This year, however, they still have the wing T principle. They're doing a lot of it out of the shotgun, which adds a different dynamic to it. They still run jet sweep and buck sweep and double handoff and all the wing T stuff. But now also you got to contend with a quarterback that can fake the jet sweep and run it and stuff, and that adds a whole different element to it. So they've kind of morphed the shotgun spread and their wing T together. And they do it very, very well. They've scored a lot of points this year. They're very, very efficient. And when you play teams like that use the misdirection and those type of things, you've got to be extremely disciplined on defense, because if all it takes is one guy not doing his job and the double handoff's going to pop for a touchdown, or they're going to run a wing pass you on a play action pass for a touchdown. So we've got to have extremely good eye discipline this week defensively and up front as well, with reading some of their blocks and that type of thing. So, it's going to be a big week for our defense, because it's a big challenge. They've scored a lot of points. They're very, very good on offense. And, it's going to take a great effort by our defense to hold them out of the end zone.
Well, and it's been a while since I've actually walked the sidelines, and looking at me, I mean, physically you could see that it probably has been. But at the same time, when I was coaching against a wing T team, it always seemed that they really wanted to exploit the B gap. Is that much where Southridge is looking to go, or are they looking to take it wide?
They are, especially since they've gone to the spread wing T. It's a little bit more to the outside with the jet sweeps and those type of things. But you're right. They still try and get in that B gap a lot, especially when they fake the jet and they run trap or quarterback trap and some of those things, they're trying to get there. And, they just do a really good job at keeping you off balance. They'll hit you with jet 2 times, and then, here comes the double handoff, and then here comes the fake jet pass, and then the fake jet, trap to the running back. They do a really good job. They throw a bunch of different formations in there at you, still using their wing T principles.
Well, much like option football, I mean, when you hear talking about a team going to defend option football, what you always hear first is defensively you got to play assignment football. But this is much the same thing. It's still assignment football that you're really going to have to play against this wing T, yet the backside has to really slow walk and stay home.
Absolutely. It's the most assignment football we'll have to play with anybody on our schedule. They do a great job at it, and they want you looking at I call it eye candy. They want you looking at all the eye candy that's going on, and then they'll pop you back to the backside, or even just if you're looking at what's going on, there goes the jet sweep around the end. So it's going to take a lot of discipline, and one of our key talking points is football's a game where it takes 11 guys doing their job. Sometimes in other sports, one guy can not do his job and somebody else can still hit the 3-pointer or hit the home run or whatever else it might be. But man, one guy doesn't do his job in football, and you're in deep trouble. And when you play teams like this, that amplifies. Sometimes again in the I formation, you can get away if somebody misses an assignment or something. But when you play somebody that has all this stuff going on, if we got 10 guys doing their job and one guy not, we're not going to be very successful.
All right, so let's go to the other side of the ball. How is Southridge going to try and slow down your offense?
Well, they're a 3-4 team and play a lot of loose man, and they bring a variety of blitzes. So we're going to have to be very good up front in pass protection as they bring some of their different blitzes and stuff. But they're one of those teams that's I think anytime you play a team that's had success for over a long period of time, like Heritage Hills, Southridge, going to Evansville, and you got Wrights or Mount Carmel or whoever, the teams that have done it for a long period of time, they play fast, physical defense, and I think they definitely fit that criteria. That they get to the football, they're physical, and they're very aggressive. They'll come after you in the blitz and stuff. So we got to make sure up front that we're able to pick that up.
Well, and that's the thing I was wondering too. I mean, as we look down on Friday night, when I start looking at the roster for Southridge, am I going to see big farm boy style getting out there and getting after it, or is this going to be kind of a smaller athletic group that's quick as lightning?
I think they have a very, very good mix, and they are very good up front, and I think one of the things that's nice about the wing tee is you get a lot of good angle blocks in the wing tee, and so you don't have to have the big maulers, but they're very good up front, and they got some guys that. When the O'Brien kid gets on the edge, who's one of their wing backs, he's very, very difficult to defend in space. So again, it's going to go back to us being disciplined and trying to keep him hemmed in.
All right, let's go now to special teams. What can you tell us about their kicking games, their return games?
Kicking games very, very solid. Their kicker is a lefty, and I think he's leading the conference in field goals made and attempted. So, they get down around the 20-yard line. They know they got points in their back pocket. And, obviously if he's good at field goals, he's made the majority of his extra points and stuff. When he kicks it off, he gets it down to about the 5-yard line or so, and, mixing in some touchbacks. And again, on film, you can't see wind, but I'm guessing that, when he got the wind at his backs, when he's hitting some of the touchbacks, and they'll mix in some squibs and stuff. And in the punting game, they're very, very solid as well.
All right, Coach. Well, anything else you would like to add about Southridge or anything with the program this week?
Well, it's a huge week. Obviously, I don't know. Some historian will probably, send me an email and let me know. But, I know Wrights and Modern Day have both been 8-0 a couple of times, but I can't really recall in this area, other than Wrights and Modern Day, two teams being 8-0 this late in the season and going for it. And I think it's, really, really cool. It's kind of got like that SEC championship type feel, where it's kind of the last game of the, before the postseason starts, and it's for the conference championship. And, expect a lot of people there before 6:30 for that kickoff on Friday night. So if you want a seat, recommend you get there early. And, it's just going to be a great electric atmosphere that is going to get both teams ready for the playoffs the following week.
All right, Coach. Well, hey, good luck on Friday night, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the post-game show after a victory and a conference championship.
All right, sounds great.
All right, so that's head coach Nick Hart joining us here on Titans Football with head coach Nick Hart. Make sure you tune in to us each week on 89.1 The Bash on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. for your inside look at Gibson Southern Titans football. But before we sign off, let's make sure we thank all of the underwriters of Titans Football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash.
This has been Titans Football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. The show is made possible by our underwriting sponsors, Ziliak Enterprises, PFW Post 2714, Vertical Tile, Total Seed Solutions, Tenbarge Seed and Turfgrass Supplies, T-Conia Distributing, United Fidelity Bank, South Gibson Grain, Shoe Carnival, Sandy's Pizza, Rusty Reeves FC Tucker MG Realtors, Reinbrecht Homes, Princeton Auto Park, Pro Rehab, Pole Concrete Construction, MyTech Systems, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Marshall Disposal, Lowry Company, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Kissel Farms, Kiesel Enterprises, JL Farm Equipment, Jackson Seed Service, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Hubstadt Summerfest Incorporated, Freudenberg Mini Mart, DuBois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Deaconess Women's Hospital, Daylight Farm Supply, Cox Family Eye Care, Consolidated Grain and Barge, Carts Gone Wild, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, AgriGold, A&T Concrete Supply, A&B Contracting, and by Wabash Valley College. Join us next week for Titans football with head coach Nick Hart right here on 89.1 The Batch.